Well met, friends. I am Archmage Milo Luckyleaf of the Riven Council, and today we are studying Armor of Agathys. Most casters glance at this spell, see the words temporary hit points, and file it away as a minor defensive curiosity. They have never read the second sentence. That second sentence is where the spell lives, and it is why a single first-level slot can punish every enemy who touches you, over and over, for a full hour, without costing you a single point of concentration. Let me start with the misconception that costs Warlock players the most. The cold damage from Armor of Agathys does not fire once and go quiet. It fires on every melee hit for as long as any of those temporary hit points remain. If 4 goblins swing at you in a single round and 3 of them connect, that is 3 separate cold damage triggers. The spell does not ask how many times it has already fired. It asks only one question each time a blade finds you. Do any of my temporary hit points still stand? If the answer is yes, the attacker takes cold damage. Full stop. I have known Warlocks who cast this spell for years without realizing that. They thought the cold damage was a one-time welcome gift, like a ward that shatters on the first blow. It does not shatter. It answers every blow until the pool runs dry. The second thing most casters miss is upcasting. They assume the spell scales on the defensive side only, giving more temporary hit points, while the cold damage stays flat. That assumption cuts the spell's value in half. Both numbers scale together. Every slot level above first adds 5 to the temporary hit points and 5 to the cold damage per trigger. Cast it at third level, 15 temporary hit points, 15 cold damage on every melee hit. Cast it at 5th level, 25 temporary hit points, 25 cold damage every single time a melee attacker connects. A Warlock gets that 5th level slot back on a short rest. Think carefully about what that means across a full adventuring day. And the spell asks nothing of your concentration. You can run the Hunger of Hadar alongside it, or Hypnotic Pattern, or any other working you need, because Armor of Agathys simply continues doing its work in the background, cold and patient, and waiting for the next fool who decides to swing a sword at you. Picture a corridor. Say you are a Warlock running a third-level Armor of Agathys, which means you have 15 temporary hit points active and 15 cold damage ready to fire on every trigger. Around the corner come 8 kobolds. Each one has 9 hit points. The first one swings at you and connects. It takes 15 cold damage. It is dead before it finishes the swing. The second one connects. Dead. The third. Dead. You are absorbing their attacks, yes, but you are also killing them with the act of being hit, and your temporary hit point pool is still standing, because kobolds deal perhaps 4 or 5 damage per swing. You do not need to cast another spell. You do not need an action. You simply need to remain in the corridor and let them come to you. That is Armor of Agathys as an attrition engine, and it is where the spell earns its keep against any encounter built around weaker, numerous enemies. Now, if you want to push this further, the Barbarian and Warlock multiclass is one of the cleanest mechanical marriages I have seen at any level of play, and the no concentration clause is the entire reason it works. When a Barbarian rages, they gain resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage, which happen to be the 3 damage types that will eat through your temporary hit points fastest. Resistance means every physical hit deals half damage to that pool. Half damage to the pool means the pool lasts twice as long. The pool lasting twice as long means Armor of Agathys fires twice as many times before the temporary hit points are gone. You are not adding a small bonus on top of the spell. You are doubling the number of cold damage triggers per casting. And because Armor of Agathys requires no concentration, it runs freely alongside the rage. You do not have to choose between the two. A Barbarian who multiclasses even 2 levels into Warlock casts Armor of Agathys before raging, and then wades into a group of melee enemies, is not defending themselves. They are running a cold damage engine that rewards the enemy for attacking them. I learned this the hard way. I spent an embarrassing number of sessions treating this spell as a panic button for when things went wrong. It is far better used as the opening move before things go wrong at all. If this reached you, like the video and subscribe so the Council knows its work is finding the right hands. More edge cases live at therivencouncil.com. Armor of Agathys does not have a power problem. It has a perception problem. Fix yours.